Hello, we are Team B, and we are going to talk about the effects of hunger. We will focus on SDGs 2, Zero Hunger. The goal of SDGs 2 is to end hunger and to achieve food security in all its forms.
First, we will talk about the current global situation of world hunger. There are, there are, there are, there are currently 768 million people in the world who are starving.
Imagine that 1 in 9 people are starving. The world population is expected to grow from 7.7 billion to 10.9 billion by 21,000, an increase of 42%. So the future food problem will also be the most serious problem facing mankind.
However, despite such a large number of hungry people, there is also a huge problem of food loss. An enormous gap between the poor and the wealthy. 1.3 billion tons of food can still be eaten is thrown away in the world, and 45% of food loss comes from the household.
For example, in Japan, 17 million tons of food is thrown away, and it means that every citizen throws away a cup of rice a day.
Next, we will talk about the problem of hunger in Asia and the effect of the COVID-19. Look at this picture. This shows the number of hungry people by regions. There are 511.7 million hungry people in Asia, and it is the bigger number of hungry in the world.
Damage and problem. The sudden increase in unemployment leads to loss of income. In other countries, employers have taken a large number of dismissals, causing millions of people to lose their job completely, affecting their families' livelihoods and impacting social stability. The main reason for the increase in food is local logistics problems or import difficulties, and it is difficult to obtain the resources needed to purchase food, especially in countries that rely on food imports.
Affect the input of agricultural labor force and production factor. The epidemic has affected the agricultural labor force and related production factors into food production, which requires difficulties in purchasing agricultural inputs, affecting food production.
The COVID-19 pandemic has exacerbated the drivers of global hunger, such as recessions and downturns. The World Bank stated that the impact of the epidemic on the economy may cause about 100 million people to fall into extreme poverty, blocking the global realization of zero hunger.
日本人这么小啊！关了啊！
我们没开。
是他们没关。
声聞こえてないかも。
傻小呀！我关了。他们有开吗？他们没开麦克风，这是重点。
何時まで？ Okay. Okay. Next, I will discuss our research about what are. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, guys?
说什么？你们在干嘛啦？我们这是关的。
Next, I will discuss our research about what are the fundamental cause of food production problems, such as the unstable situation that is causing new problems like corona and a huge starving population. 下一页是吗？ Now we got the answer that livestock farming and farming in the journal is the cause. 下一页吗？ So there are a lot of issues of livestock farming. For example, more than 6 million animals are killed for food every hour. Also, livestock farming is affecting the environment badly too. For example, livestock farming accounts for 32,000 tons of carbon dioxide for a year, and it's about 51% of the world's greenhouse gas. About the agriculture, there are a lot of issues. For example, 1/3 of the Earth's topsoil will be completely divested. Then all the soil will be lost in 60 years. Also, about a quarter of the Earth's land mass is deserted. Now, I will now explain the process. 换了，怎么跑那里去？ Explain the process of how general agriculture destroyed the earth. The reason is because of the soil erosion. The reason is tilling. Over-tilling using chemical fertilizer to make the weaker soil stronger, using the chemical fertilizer again. When the soil is tilled, the carbon dioxide absorbed in the soil is released, and thus the water in the soil evaporates and the soil becomes a desert. These 6 negative cycles have led to soil erosions, a terrible condition of the Earth's topsoil. Do you see how the agriculture and the livestock farming are a problem? Next, the solution. The solution is artificial meat and regenerative meat.
田中你接下去。
Lastly, we will talk about the action plan we are doing. Usually, we are often see food waste day after day, leading to severe food shortage in many areas. In our daily life, we can reheat excess nutritious lunch from school and send them to people.
Thank you for your listening.
说什么？ me?
Yes, I can.
Why did you choose this SDG topic? We choose this SDG topic because we see a lot of food crisis around us. So we decided to do this topic in order to learn more about how to improve improve this situation.
There's a question for me.
Will you really can achieve this goal?
Maybe in
the future, we will try to do some practical action to achieve this goal.
问日本人呢？
对啊，他们麦克风就坏掉了，他们到底在干嘛？
那你
And because all of the member action that SDGs 2 about, so we choose it.
We have finished our presentation. We have ended our presentation.
Please share the slide and start it.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. We are students from Lingen Senior High School and Hyogo Senior High School. Our topic today is Actions for Education in Post-Pandemic Era. This is the contents of our presentation. First, the introduction. Second, the problems. Third, the solutions, and the conclusion. First, introduction. The pandemic has created the largest disruption of education systems in history. A statistic by UN shows that 1.5 billion students in 188 countries or economies were locked out of their schools. During this period of time, most teachers use different online mediums so that the courses can continue. The advantages of online classes are as follows. Most students think that the best point about online classes is freedom from time and location constraints. They can use their time freely until just before online classes. Many others consider having classes at their favorite time and pace important, whereas having relaxed feelings in classes also matters.
Second, we will be introducing the problems. Here are some disadvantages of the online classes. We will explain them in the following slides. First, some students don't have enough computers or smartphones to use because there may be other children in the household who may need to go to class at the same time. Those who are less fortunate have no access to the electronic devices. Another point to note, as you can see from the picture, the internet population and penetration in underdeveloped countries is obviously deficient. Third, in online courses, cameras are not required. First, thus, some students will speculate and they won't take the class seriously. For example, lying on bed or using their smartphones to play games, making the learning effect worse.
Fourth, there will be more restrictions to the PE courses, such as basketball, tennis, swimming, etc. How is this possible? Well, most students' home may not have enough room or equipment to get them to the sport. Fifth, if you encounter some problems pertaining to classwork or assignment, you may not be able to discuss them with others to the best of one's ability. It may also cause the problems with the student's psychological condition. Therefore, students might withdraw from a social surrounding. Finally, long-term use of the internet may cause excessive eye pressure, soreness, or stiffness of the shoulders or neck, and some other related diseases. It may also cause insomnia, resulting in mental stress, and sleeping in class the next day.
Now, we will propose the solutions. As listed on this chart, online learning has many advantages. However, you may also notice that there are still many disadvantages. On the other hand, conventional face-to-face education has its strengths and weaknesses as well. So, what we thought was to take the advantages of the two learning styles and provide a more effective learning system. To begin with, we need a basic education cooperation system. The SDG for Education 2030 High-Level Steering Committee aims for cooperation in education. It is an international committee and many countries participate in it, so the decision made there has a big influence. Our proposal is to build a subcommittee to discuss educational support, focusing on combining education and online education and face-to-face education. Now, we will explain in details about the plan. For the teaching platform, online teaching platform, there are already many systems in use. The first two here, eHam and eWant, are programs which lets the students get learning materials or watch tutoring videos. The other two, Microsoft Teams and Google Classrooms, are used in communication between students and teachers. The committee would mainly work on introducing these platforms to schools and governments.
Face-to-face education support is also essential. TFT dispatches teachers and gives financial support to correct educational inequality. Also, CSEP is NGO that support education in developing countries. For example, they build new schools, foster talent of teachers, and so on. But that kind of organization are not enough. So we should build them more for equal education. If you do not have the equipment to conduct the online classes at home, you can borrow it from your school or government for free. It will help spreading online classes. But it is difficult for some countries to give such support due to financial problems, so developed countries should support more. I guess you already know its importance, but maybe you wonder how developed countries can collect money. So we'll talk about concrete proposals about it in the following slides.
Okay. I'll explain about the way to collect money in the developed countries with this figure. First thing that developed countries has to do is lower the corporation tax rate. This will bring financial security to the companies. Also, this lowers the hurdle of making new company. This will make the income of the tax to be more. And existing companies that got damaged by COVID-19 can revive earlier. From these things, the competition between companies will be intense. This is an important thing because this means that they need more employees. They can hire people who lost their job, and also the payment will be better because they will compete in that field too. Also, companies will try to make new good products. This will make the economy to go around. And if the country raises the income tax rate, it encourages the economy to be active. And thanks to the consumption tax, the tax income will raise. So this way, we can collect money and also help the developed countries grow. It is easier for developed countries to introduce it in their country.
Finally, our conclusion is the following point. Online classes spread during pandemic because a lot of students couldn't go to school. We found advantages of online and offline classes, so we decided to support both of them. But it may be difficult for some countries because of financial issues. So developed country support are indispensable. To make it easier, we are also propose how to collect money in developed countries, thus we can resolve educational problems. These are references we use. Thanks for listening.
Um, so, what inspired you to choose this topic is the question. And our answer is we choose this topic because we have encountered a lot of problems both in our countries and abroad. For example, children who don't have enough electronic devices suffer a lot and they couldn't go to school. We found advantages of online and offline classes, so we decided to support both of them. But it may be difficult for some countries because of financial issues. So, developed countries support art in the indispensable. It is sensible to make it easier. We also proposed how to collect money in developed countries. Thus, we decided to think of some ways to help those who are who are in need.
Um, so we'll answer the question, what are the other issues that may occur in these online courses? As we explained, we had some examples, but the most serious problem we think is the gap between countries, developed countries and developing countries. And also, we talked about national problems like some some students living in mountainous areas don't have internet connection or don't have computers. So we think that is the gap is the biggest problem, and that causes serious issues in the online courses. Absolutely. Should we answer more? Should we answer more, or is this?
Yes.
Yes. And the question is, do you think online teaching is good for the...
Okay.
Okay. The question is, do you think online teaching is good for the student? We think that online teaching is good for those who are in advantaged condition. And however, for those who are really poor, they can't deal with everything. They can deal with everything. They don't have enough support and will cause dropout of the school. Yes.
I will explain about CSIP a little. It is an organization that supports developing countries, and for example, Japan supported to Cambodia about educational problems, and it is a non-border support, so it is very important to cooperate with a lot of countries. So maybe we should build more organizations to support to other countries. Like developed countries have room in their budget, but some countries not. So we can give a lot of support to them. And also we hold.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
1, 2.
Hello, everyone. We are from Shenzhen Senior High School and Osaka City Higashi High School. Our topic today is no change, no change.
Due to the COVID-19, Japan and Taiwan economy have been seriously affected. Not only has the GDP decreased, the unemployment rate has also increased a lot. Although we are currently in this difficult situation, we can still try our best to achieve the SDGs goal. Today, we are going to focus on goal number 8, decent work and economic growth, and number 12, responsible consumption and production.
We will introduce several changes in jobs and companies that we have observed in the society and provide the data we collected from the questionnaire. Then, we will propose an action plan that we can do to achieve these goals.
So what changes have companies in Taiwan and Japan made to reduce expenses or increase income during the COVID-19? First one, work from home. According to our research, a lot of companies started to ask their employees to work from home in order to avoid daily commuting and keep social distancing with others. Luckily, the internet and video conferencing apps have helped make this become a reality.
Number 2, food industry. Because of a lockdown policy, many restaurants banned dine-in services and provided takeout and delivery services. In Taiwan, not only do most of the restaurants do so, some 5-star hotels even produce lunch boxes for office workers nearby, which is an alternative way for them to generate income. In addition to this, food delivery has also become more common. According to our survey, around half of the respondents said they use delivery service more often after the pandemic started.
As for Japan, takeout service wasn't popular before the pandemic. But in order to avoid the policies, we can now enjoy various food from the restaurant at home, whether it's curry, ramen, or sushi. Speaking of restaurant, a shared kitchen space business has become a special business mode. During the pandemic, instead of operating a physical store, the chefs only need to rent a kitchen and take orders for delivery. Other adjustments that the food industry has made include the frozen food vending machines in Japan and instant food packages in Taiwan. Number 3, e-commerce market. Next, we are going to discuss how the e-commerce market has grown rapidly during the pandemic. Nowadays, shoppers can buy groceries and daily necessities on the e-commerce website. Some top bestseller products during the pandemic include toys, electronics, and everything related to Nintendo Switch.
Interestingly, a new approach of owners selling products via live stream video has become a hit during the pandemic. It is only seen in Taiwan, but not in Japan. It allows viewers to watch and shop at the same time. From seafood to skin products, you can almost buy everything you can think of. What's more, some gyms even provide online yoga or aerobic classes, and people can exercise with the teachers at home.
4, airline industry. Let's see, we will focus on the changes of operating in the airline industry. Needless to say, they have faced a dramatic drop in the demand of passengers. In Taiwan, several airlines launched the Fake Flight project, where eager travelers can pretend to go abroad, but with the departure and destination being the same place.
As for Japan, the Peach Airline started an unusual promotion called the Travel Lottery. They set up a gachapon machine where people can get a flight ticket to a random destination in Japan at a cheap price.
As we can see,
All of these creative changes in industries provide a new source of income and help companies to go through the dark times. These are definitely good examples of how people can still maintain the economy to achieve goal number 8.
After discussing the phenomenon that we observed in both Japanese and Taiwanese society, we are going to propose an action plan that we can together help relieve some economic burden on our families. And that is minimalism. You might be confused. What's minimalism? Minimalism is about avoiding the unnecessary and embracing the concept of less is more. To put this into practice, we can clean our houses and organize some unused stuff. Then we can sell them in the flea market, making extra money for our families.
In the process of cleaning our houses, we could also approach the SDGs goal number 12. That is, when we are going to purchase new stuff next time, we might be more responsible, thinking of the consumption of wasting stuff, and making some changes in our habits. We can only buy what we need, but not what we want. This action can not only help us save money, but also learn the concept of eco-consumerism.
It is because of the COVID-19 challenges that companies make changes in their operations. It is because of our family income challenge that we adopt minimalism in our daily lives. One person's power might be small, but a group of people can change the world. So let's face the future challenge with a positive attitude together, because
No challenge, no change. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. We'd like to answer from Japan first. Which is the question, does your country's culture accept less is more in the first place? In Japan, there is a traditional word danshari. In Japan, there has been a culture of disposing of unnecessary things and spending time comfortably. This is an answer from Japanese Jen. Then the next answer from the Taiwanese student, please.
Okay, the next question we choose is, why did you choose these SDG goals from Mincheng Senior High School? I believe that the pandemic have been seriously affected to our society. So a lot of companies in Taiwan have been shut down and broke. So we observed this incident and these phenomenons, and so we decided to tell people what happened in this COVID-19 pandemic, and we decided to do some research to improve our point of view is right. And the second question we choose is, what are the advantages and disadvantages of fake flight project? I believe the advantages is you could relax your mood from the flight travel, the fake travel, and the disadvantage is it might increase the rate, the rank of you get the COVID-19, and the pandemic might be more serious. But I believe it's not that serious. So I think its advantage is better. Yeah. And that's our answer, Seth. Thank you very much. We want to answer more question about how can you convince people to live minimalist life. Minimalism is a concept from less is better. So I want to introduce more to you guys. When you have cell phone, when you have more money, you have more trouble to think about. You think, where is my cell phone? I have to look at it. Where is my money? I don't earn more money to buy things that we want. But the essential concept of this is, you don't have this. You don't have to do this. Those things is what you want, not what you need. So I'm started to do this minimalism life. Why don't you try? Why don't you try it? Why don't you join us? It is more relaxable. That's our answer. Thank you. And
thank you for listening.
Thank you.
换我刚刚在讲那个。
为什么会突然没有背景？
对。
没有。
你那边没有开镜头。所以我可以。
他说我们可以开始。
开始。Mom, again? Yes, it's the fourth time today. I don't know, honey. Have you drunk water today? Please drink more. Okay. Yes, but it keeps happening. I'm sorry, honey. Your father and I will try to figure this out, okay? Okay. I'm home. Welcome home, honey. Can you come here for a second? What is it? It's still happening. Still? Dad, please make it stop. I know. I'm working very hard to get your medicine. Honey, can we talk for a second? Sure. What is it? Oh, so you see, I may or may not lose my job. How? Calm down. Listen first. Even before the outbreak, the crops production was already declined due to climate change. But now, in the post-pandemic, it is getting exacerbated even after more people in all sectors, including agriculture, are being adapted with the circumstances. How come?
Good night, everyone. Here is Shaggy News. I'm Anchor Jessica.
I'm the Anchor Chelsea.
This are here about international news.
In recent years, many problems have been affected by industrial pollution.
I see. Because agricultural products are polluted, many food shortages has curtailment in some areas, but the fulfillment is gradually expanding due to the outbreak. Take Taiwan as an example. The Sony company has set up number 6 site in Minot. It has polluted the health of residents in industries such as forestry, fishery, and animal farming, causing great public suffering and protests among the nearby residents.
Taiwan provides a large amount of fruits and vegetables and rice to the world, which in turn affects the global food safety problem.
Now I reporting recently, many peasantry were affected by petrochemical industry pollution. Due to the 6 site incident, the groundwater around the area was polluted. They couldn't cultivate the land by finding out the water was polluted by chemicals.
As a result, not only environment may cause, but also people's health is greatly affected. Moreover, because of the incidents, their immune system has gradually declined. Therefore, the COVID-19 has outbroken. People can't have strong body to protect themselves. This obviously shows that the pandemic outbreak has caused tremendous impacts negatively.
Well, that explains it. So what should we do now? I have no idea. What if we call a chief of Asia Farmer Association? You still have his number, right? Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Actually, we should do that right now. Hello? 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 Hello, we need your. Hello, we need your help.
Of course, no problem at all.
So how's our coal supply? It'll last till the end of the year, and we will negotiate with Batu Company for the following year. Excuse me, give me a moment, ma'am. Ma'am, there's Asian Farmer Association's chief downstairs, insisting on meeting.
What for? I'll talk to him.
But ma'am, we have a meeting
Do I
with.
look like I care?
I'll go get the chief. Please come in, sir.
Good afternoon. What's your problem?
I'm Rico. I'm on behalf of the Asian Farmers Association.
What were you going to complain about?
Well, I've received many complaints that your company has caused immense issues on our lives as farmers. both economically and medically.
And that's supposed to be my problem?
Well, according to the data, it should be your concern and your responsibility. You see, your company emits dangerous carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide, affecting the scattering of sunlight, rainfall patterns, and even cloud formation, and environmental issues in general.
Here you go, ma'am, sir.
Can't you see I'm in the middle of something?
My apologies, ma'am.
Sorry, but I have to discuss something urgent. Here with me, a civil servant, Miss Naila.
Nice to meet you, Miss Naila.
Nice to meet you. We have something in common to discuss.
I believe so.
All right.
Well, please, join us. I overheard what you said, and let's discuss further about that.
You see, our government has released certain policies of fossil power plant usage in companies due to its harmful impact on human and environmental sustainability, especially for local farmers. So how are we going to manage that?
We're gonna switch to solar panels as we've done in Likupang, Indonesia, generating the electricity to rectify 15,000 residential units with 15 megawatts of power.
Sounds great, but what about the costs?
Well, going solar saves a fortune in the long term as it's easy to maintain. Further, the installation cost decreased by 20% over the last 5 years.
Still pricey. I can't afford that.
They are financially supported by the government, which also helps in reducing electricity bills. Additionally, it lessens the carbon footprint users and produces no pollution. The farmers will also get the benefit, as in the US, the closure of fossil power plant has saved more than 26,000 lives and millions of crops.
So you mean it will lead to an improvement and better living?
For sure. To add, the farmers benefit from farming digitalization.
What's that?
Drones to help the farmers, initiated by Sergio Ballester, the CEO and founder of Indigo Drones, providing aerial informatics support by mapping and crop monitoring services.
To add, vertical indoor farming to increase crop yield only requires a smaller area, and it's also safe from weather disruptions.
You, any thoughts?
We should take on this project considering the benefits.
I agree. These strategies are very doable in the current post-pandemic era to prevent further destructive impacts caused by fossil power plants. And
it's not too late to make
this today. Thanks for your
Thank you.
I want to answer why did you choose this as your topic? Many people in Taiwan are now facing the inability to make money to support their families due to the pandemic and pollution. So they want to come up with a solution. That's why we want to choose this topic.
I want to answer 7414. What difficulties did you face during the project?
I think it is my difficult. 你直接来念给，你直接给他回答就好，答案给他。忘记了，你看什么？直接念。念错也没关系，我刚不是还是开始。
I think it's like experience.
And manuscript is very hard to remember. That's why. And the next one.
What idea inspired by the local farmers suffering from Asian countries? What inspires you to choose this topic? Inspired by the local farmers suffering in most Asian countries. Inspired by. Can you say that? First, why did you choose this as your topic? It's because why we need to address climate change and zero hunger is because climate change has been accelerating despite the pandemic. So the emissions did drop last year, but it did came up this year, and it is more than in a million years. So that's why it needs to be addressed because of the impacts that it made, and why we need to address zero hunger, because a world with zero hunger can positively impact our economics and health, education, and equality, and social development. What difficulties did you face? Oh, what difficulties? Yeah, you can answer it. Just practicing and give the data and stuff. You can say it. Just say that.
The next question is, what difficulties did you face during the project? Oh, so the first difficulty that we faced was making the script, because we had to fit it all in 8 minutes, and we had to divide it to 4 and 4. And the second one was putting in the data.
What idea?
Okay, the next question is, what idea inspires you? The idea of what inspired us is the local farmers that are suffering in most Asian countries. And
that's what's happening in Likupang.
What's happened in Likupang?
Another question is, what can we do as a student? Well, we can start by spreading awareness and also spreading the message that zero hunger is actually an immense issue nowadays, and yeah, we should start taking action.
We want to answer 789. Do you feel this topic close to you? And our answer is
yes, because this pollution is happening in Taiwan, and this pollution can cause us health become crash.
Why did you decide to use this application with the direction? We feel that our presentation is not appealing, and so that you can convey the message. Giving a story makes it more understandable. Yeah, giving a story makes it more understandable.
Yeah.
So,
The one with people and you can answer the okay.
Hello everyone, we are Shenshin High School in Taiwan.
And the Free Commercial High School in Japan. Today, we'd like to talk about stress and mental illness of high school students in Korea and Japan in the post-pandemic era. After the outbreak of COVID-19, we have been exposed to so much anxiety and stress. To start our collaboration, we did a survey of Taiwanese and Japanese students about their mental condition during the pandemic.
The following is our data from the survey. Are you depressed because you can't socialize with friends? What are the reasons for the conflicts between you and your family during the pandemic? Are you worried that your parents' income will be affected by the pandemic? Are you worried that you or your family will be infected? How did you feel at home during the epidemic? Following the previous question, what was the reason for your feelings? The major reasons for the prior question was not being able to go out and not being able to see their friends in both countries.
The SDG3 Target 4 is about promoting mental health and well-being. We would like to promote students' mental health by proposing action plans to ease their anxiety. The result of our survey turned out to be similar in both countries. However, when we discussed the situation, we found an interesting difference between the two countries. Taiwanese students feel stressed wearing masks, while Japanese students feel worried about taking masks off. So, we have decided to use different action plans for each country. First, let's look at the situation in Taiwan. The National Suicide Prevention Center in Taiwan conducts annual telephone surveys about mental health for people over 50 years old. The results showed that about 6% had emotional distress and 13% had thought of suicide in their lives. According to the survey, we know that people in Taiwan, including high school students, still suffer from mental health problems.
Although the threat of COVID-19 is getting less serious, people in Taiwan have to wear facial masks whenever we go outside. Only when we are having meals or doing outdoor exercise are we allowed to take off our masks. Most people, especially high school students, are expecting to return to their normal life soon. Having facial masks somehow makes them feel stressed and uncomfortable. However, we still wear them even during outdoor exercise because we are worried about catching the disease. So, we thought a plan to relieve high school students' stress by encouraging them to exercise by themselves. In this way, they don't need to put on their facial masks or risk getting COVID-19 while exercising. According to many researchers, exercising can not only improve one's health, but also can relieve stress. Here are some exercises to ease stress and can be done alone, such as jogging, boxing, and yoga.
And about our actions, we want to hold an online yoga class and invite the PE teacher to teach us. We know yoga was possible because in a previous online class, the PE teacher used Google Meet teaching us to do yoga. After the class, classmate feedback suggests that yoga class not only keep our figure but also make us relax. So we propose holding yoga class on weekends by sharing videos on Google Meet. Everyone can do yoga together.
As for collaboration, we thought about 3 points. Number 1, counselor's office. You can go there anytime you want. Number 2, lifeline. In Taiwan, for example, Teacher Chang is one of we can call for help. Number 3, ask family and friends for help and have a heart-to-heart talk.
Next, we will talk about the situation in Japan. When we talk to Taiwanese students, we find that they feel stressed to keep their mask on all the time. But in Japan, some feel stressed for completely opposite reasons. The Ministry of Labor and Welfare in Japan reported last year that about half of the anxiety caused by the pandemic could be reduced by people protecting themselves against COVID-19, such as wearing facial masks and sanitizing their hands. After 2 years of living under the pandemic, anxiety and uneasiness still persists. However, maybe it has taken a slightly different turn. When we talked to high school girls, we found that they feel stressed taking their facial masks off even when there is no threat of COVID-19. They fear that their faces will be seen by others. Yes, after over a year of wearing masks constantly, they have been addicted to it. According to the survey we conducted with Japanese high school students, although 60% of them said they don't like wearing facial masks, about the same number of them also said they feel uncomfortable taking off their masks in public.
There has always been a symptom called facial mask addiction. This is said to be a type of communication disorder. We have to do something about this before it becomes more serious. So we thought about a plan against this. First, we thought about the cause of this problem. Our survey results showed that people's biggest problem is their lack of confidence. So in order to raise their confidence and give them a chance to take off their masks, we proposed a dance event. Dancing in front of others and being cheered will give them a sense of achievement. Also, because it is a sport activity, students will feel more inclined to take off their masks without being forced.
We recently had a dance event with about 30 people, and it helped greatly to build our confidence. We didn't feel uncomfortable exposing our faces because the audience was somewhat apart, and cheering from our classmates improved our self-esteem. This can be done in any school in Japan, but we believe it's better to keep it small scale in order to keep a friendly atmosphere and to avoid competition. Also, it will be more effective to make a rule to cheer for other teams. To conclude, it has been interesting to see that even though the survey result was similar in two countries, when we started to take a closer look at what's troubling them now, their problems were different. We learned that it's important to listen to people carefully when we try to solve their problems.
Although we ended up having different action plans, our conclusion is still the same. Adequate exercise can ease stress, and since many students have had less opportunities to work out these days, it is important to encourage them now. The pandemic is unpredictable, so we should keep focusing on these time-varying transformations brought by the post-pandemic era. Thanks for listening. The first question that we want to answer is from Li Zhi Senior High School 7A7. Question is, why do you choose this topic? And because under the pandemic, I found that our friends have this mental problem, and the SDG 3 target 4 is about promoting mental health and well-being. We would like to promote students' mental health by proposing action plans to ease their anxiety.
Thank you for your question. We would like to answer the question, what if the students are too shy to dance? We choose a group dance event, although the pressure was low. If they are still too shy, we don't have to force those students, but giving more students a chance to express themselves will have a good effect.
The third question that we want to answer is from bar 884. Their question is, I want to ask, why did you choose this topic? And we want to answer is, we found that many friends around us have psychological problems because of the pandemic. So we want to do this project in order to fix their problems.
Thank you for your question. Next, we would like to answer the question, do you think people with facial mask addiction will increase in the future? Yes, because it is normal for students to wear masks on all the time. Also, people don't know if they are addicted to it. More and more students, especially those who were younger when the pandemic started, will be addicted to facial masks.
The next question we want to answer is 8A2. Who do you tailor questionnaires? We take 400 people, about 200 boys and 200 girls in Taiwan and Japan. And we also tell them to write down their names, so the data isn't fake.
Okay. Thank you for your question. Next, we would like to answer the question. Have you achieved your action plan? Oh, yes. We had a dance event with our classmate. Although we cannot show the video of it, we had a great time.
And the next question is 784. They ask, are you already doing
action your project? And we
Yes, we have done the project and we sent to school. And the school says it will give us some response in
a month, right?
Thank you.
好，只有这边收音。
那我声音打开了。
Thank you for attending our presentation. We are from Richmond High School.
This is a presentation from Kaohsiung Municipal Kaohsiung Industrial High School. To begin with, have you ever wondered that after using masks, where do they go or what kind of problems are there? We hope you understand the current situation of wearing masks and ready to take action for changing the bad situations. So now, begin. First of all, I would like to introduce the situation of wearing masks in Taiwan. We investigated a model production and disposal of face masks in Taiwan since the outbreak of COVID-19. For everyone, a basic protection measure is to wear a face mask every day, and lots of used masks have been thrown away everywhere. We think it may pose a threat to our environment, since those used masks still carry viruses on them. It's likely to cause another epidemic by not preparing the used masks around here. So how about Japan? What is the situation of wearing masks?
In Japan, the situation is not so different from Taiwan. Many people wear masks every day, and as you can see in this chart, most people think that the amount of mask garbage has increased. At the same time, many used masks are thrown away in many places, like on the street and into the sea.
These are the current situation of both countries. Face masks allow the current face masks allow us to get close to normal life during the pandemic. For example, we can get together and talk with each other. But face masks do a lot of damage to environment problem. About 1.5 billion masks are thrown away into the sea. Many people use disposal non-waving masks. Do you know what it's made from? Paper? Cotton? No. Actually, the main part of it is made from plastic. People throw away this kind of masks to the sea. That means people throw away large amount of masks of plastic. So now the sea and sea animals are in danger. Also, this problem relates to SDG goal number 14. It tried to stop sea pollution by 2025. But I think if this situation continues, it may not achieve a goal. So we have to change the situation. As we mentioned, a large amount of masks are thrown into the sea and afflicting sea creatures. Those masks must be processed correctly to protect these creatures. So we would like to introduce 3 solutions. First, don't throw away the masks into the sea. It may sound like a no-brainer, but that's not true. To make it work as a solution to this problem, everyone all over the world has to pay attention to this. To let people know the situation, we need to disseminate the information through SNS. We can say that this action can be related to next 2 solutions, because changing awareness can be related to taking action.
Second, we use more eco-friendly masks. So have you ever seen this unique mask? This is named Marie V. Bloom, and these are designed by Dutch graphic designers. The biggest term of this is that it is 100% biodegradable. It means they disappear by burying in the soil. And also, when you use this mask and are buried in the soil, the beautiful flowers will bloom. This is because some seeds like aster and coleopsis are included in this mask. This is one of good examples of masks that are eco-friendly.
Third, recycle use masks. We would like to introduce 2 examples. In Taiwan, we found a recycling spot for used masks in Kaohsiung main station. However, there's a few recycling spots in Kaohsiung, and it seems not very convenient for people to change the mask in a train station.
According to Greenpeace, Taiwanese people use 1.2 billion pieces of masks per season. The total weight of these masks is up to 5,500 tons. If we could recycle all masks, we can reduce plastic waste. To achieve the recycling, we need more recycling stations of this kind around us, so more used masks could be recycled than is necessary to let people know about the recycling system, those SNS. As a result, the government noticed that and they will help to increase the numbers of recycling stations.
Basically, used messes should be folded in half and placed in a certain trash can carefully. This is to avoid being infected by viruses on used messes. It will be better if his or her used messes are placed in a sealed bag before disposal. Secondly, put a net to the sea to collect the messes and recycle them. Some companies have already started to sell garden chairs that are made from used messes. Also, the messes can be a part of cards and carpets, like this. The used messes can be reduced in various ways.
We would like to conclude our presentation. Because of COVID-19 pandemic, many people all over the world have been wearing masks, and at the same time, large amount of masks into the sea and into the sea. It had and still cause a really bad effect on sea creatures. To solve the problems, we introduced three solutions. First, not throwing away masks into the sea and spreading information through SNS. Second one is using more eco-friendly masks. Last one is recycling masks by using recycled trash cans and putting on a net into the sea to collect the masks.
This problem is really difficult, and it has to be solved as soon as possible. So we need to take action soon. And changing the awareness of one person will become a driving force that changes the world.
A big changes can be made by us.
And let's make the world a better place together. It's all for our presentation. Thank you. Thank you so much for the kind attention. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. The question from 7A4 Zhongzhen Gaozhong. Where can we set up recycling spots? And we hope our government can set up more exclusive trash cans for wasted mess. But whether to set up more trash cans is not depends on us. So all we can do is let more and more people know the importance of recycling used mess in the right way. And we can put up poster of how to recycle the used mess and don't throw your mess on the ground in school, or promote our ideas on the internet to let more people to know that. And maybe we can try to set some recycling spot for wasted mess in our school. Thank you.
Next, I would like to answer the question. The question is from someone. The question is, as high school student, what can you do to solve this problem? I think as a student, we can spread the information about the problem because many students have Instagram account or Twitter account. So yeah, we can spread information, and also we can apply to a school council or the some organization and make some project to solve the problem. Yeah, thank you for question.
Problem from A A4 Xiaogang Gaozhong. Thank you for your presentation. How can you ban throw away mask? The cause in what do you think this makes this problem will still extend after COVID-19? This is a good question. Do you think this will happen again after the epidemic? I think what can we do is to spread this idea to friends and family and let more people to know this about it. Even if the epidemic is over, we should do this. Wearing a mask can not only prevent the epidemic, but also prevent allergies. Uh, oh,
So I would like to answer the question. And have you ever seen the unique masks like my big bloom? And thanks for your questions. And the answer is no, I haven't seen this because it's not so like famous now, but I need to be famous. Like if everyone know about this mask. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. We are from Wenshan Senior High School and Akita Prefectural Yuli Senior High School. Today, we are going to talk about help low-income people and change the way people think about the hierarchy. And here is our content.
Background. Due to COVID-19, people must wear masks when entering places. People have reduced their willingness to go out. Thereby, it reduces store sales. Therefore, employees in the service industry face the risk of layoffs. For example, hotels have to lay off staff because they have no income. Many people start to lose their jobs. Therefore, Taiwan's economic development has stagnated for a while. The new COVID-19 not only affects the lives of ordinary people, but also brings serious trauma to the overall society. At present, we must solve the current problems and minimize the impact of the epidemic.
Companies affected by the epidemic are also facing some problems, leading to layoff. The economy is also affected, so housing prices have risen. These conditions have caused many people to lose stable housing and become displaced. For example, people face a rate of unemployment and get a lot of pressure from their life. In addition, take the hotel industry as an example. There are too much vacancy without being made use of, and because of income problems, we must lay off employees. We must think clearly about the above issues in the post-epidemic year. From this data, we can know that housing prices have remained high.
Approach. Because our current problem is that low-income households have no place to live and hoteliers have a lot of space, we intend to use the above 2 points to create a win-win situations. We hope that hoteliers can let low-income households live in hotels and have pastoral parties. Method. First, the operator first prepare a budget, calculate the capacity of the venue over a place and the manpower. Second, assign 2 hosts to be responsible for the talent shows. All the waiters will set up a venue together and the outdoor barbecue. Hoteliers can rent out the extra rooms in the hotel as employee dormitories. At the same time, they can also get more profit from the travelers, and this can also pay for the social responsibilities of the large enterprises.
We conduct a questionnaire asking people their perception of their projects. This is the content of our projects. Low-income households living in the vacant hotel and working for the hotels at the same time can improve low-income earners have enough place to live in. According to the questionnaire surveys, 96% of those agreeing to the plan. Do you like this project? 100% of people like it. Do you think the project can be implemented? 76% agree with this plan and 24% disagree, which show that most people feel this plan can be implemented.
Hello, we are UD Senior High School. We propose a psychological approach to face the problem of poverty. Japan used to be one of the most developed and richest countries in the world, but this is the reality. Poverty is one of the serious problems to be solved in Japan. From a short-term perspective, we need to give food or money to those in need. From a middle-term,
Oops. Hold a second. How about this? How about this? Okay.
from a middle term, we need to change rules or systems of our society. But Japanese psychologist Taizo Kato wrote, for us to lead happy lives, we should focus on mental matters rather than economic ones. This is one of the sources of poverty. Those who have the power monopolize the wealth of the society. So To solve the problem poverty from a long-term perspective, we propose to change our values, especially of leaders. Post-pandemic era must be a chance to change our values. We propose a solution we can do within a minute at high schools in Japan. This is a ranking table we see in many high schools, which shows difficulty to enter each college. The most difficult college to enter is located on the top. We find a problem and solution here. Since this kind of ranking tables may have influenced students' mentality. We Japanese often compare ourselves with others and worry about our ranks or levels where we belong. Looking at these tables, students may have developed their sense of superiority or inferiority complex. So, we propose to change the style of ranking table from vertical to horizontal at every high school in Japan. If we change the table from vertical to horizontal, students would be less worried about their rank, whether the others are superior to them or not. Of course, competition is necessary so that societies and individuals can grow. We know our solution is not equal and there are always winners and losers, but every person must be proud of him or herself. We want to stop high school students from classifying themselves superior or inferior to others. We need to be a good leaders and good followers. To change the society, we especially need good leaders. Leaders are not the ones who always wealth or power of the societies. Leaders should lead us standing ahead, not on the top of us. From vertical to horizontal. This is our solution to solve the problems such as poverty in Japan in post-pandemic era. This is the reference. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for listening.
What the?どうすんだこれ。あれ、質問答える誰か。
And there's a question answer that how many people did you ask in the questionnaire? We only asked 26 people to answer the question. And as for 这第几个？ The first question, how are you going to gather so many people when there is a virus? We suggest that you can post something similar to recruiting to promote.
这个
How can you
Yeah.
gather people?
解决方案，要有公共解决方案。
这个吗？
これ言えばいいの？
Where are different plans? 我们自己的公募是吗？
It's hard to question.
Say that it's not equal. How can you
Social
make
is not
promote?
これ言えばいいの？これ言えばいいの？
これで、to どうだどうだこれに対して、to answer question from 7A4 って感じで。
To answer from 7A4, we believe we need good leaders to change the society. So we propose our values as a first step. Okay.
7A4 中正，
拜拜。
这是日本。中正回来是哪个问题？中正回来是哪个？日本回来是就是7A4。Besides from yourself. That's the question that where's the action plan from yourself? And we can suggest the project to the hoteliers, and then accept the project and help the low income people.
Implement.
As for the how to pursue quality life during the pandemic era, and they can work in a hotel and do the best thing as they can do.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
我觉得。
Sorry, just a moment, because okay.
Okay, we can start it. Look at these results. What do you think this number means? Actually, this is the amount of garbage in the world. As research shows, garbage is increasing drastically. Hello, we're Raitsimakan High School and Kaohsiung Senior High School. Today we'll talk about the garbage problem after COVID-19. Some of the problems for this include the increased amount of time spent at home during COVID-19 and the use of many masks and gloves in the medical field. Who would not see this as a problem? To solve this damaging problem, we propose a program around the law of the 3 E's. 3 E's means easy, early, and effective. Now let Ruka and Kazuka share with you the details of effective environmental protection.
We are supposed we suggest ET project. If cities are certified by the government, they will receive the title of ET city. In order to get the title, cities have to use the garbage tax and keep within the government limit of garbage emission for five years. If they don't keep the garbage reduction rate, the government support will stop.
The city collects garbage tax from citizens to reduce the amount of garbage produced. We set up 2 ways to use the garbage tax. First, we will show you how to dispose of non-recyclable garbage in magma. We drop the garbage between the plates and let the mantle melt them. Transporting garbage by cargo ship reduces fuel and other costs. Next, we use a tax to perform the young adults' ideas. For example, if children suggest setting up a zero plastic garbage lunch day in every school in the city, the tax will be used to realize. By creating a garbage tax, younger adults will be recognized as a part of society.
The United Nations will create videos showing how to dispose of garbage in each city. By doing so, we can spread various ways to reduce garbage. This is an effective way for people to find ways to reduce garbage in their own cities. The revenue from the video will be used to promote the environment. Next, let Alba and Fusako share with you details of ARI.
We are supposed to make a new system to get energy. In a garbage station, a huge amount of fuel and fire are wasted to burn the garbage. To solve that problem, we suggest a new energy system that uses the burn. In an incinerator, we install a turbine, and then spin it, we can get energy. By doing so, we can not only burn garbage, but also get new energy from waste at the same time. Also, we can get more energy if we succeed in improving heat exchange efficiency.
In addition, we thought of a way to summer power by replacing fossil fuel with garbage. By doing so, we can dispose of waste and generate electricity at the same time. By doing so, we can gain the genetic fuels domestically, because we no longer have to use fossil fuels. Also, the garbage is never depleted, so there is no need to worry about running out of fuel. In this way, by developing a new energy system in garbage stations, we can move away from environmentally damaging methods of power generation earlier and move to a more sustainable one. Next, let Brian and Tommy share with you details of EASY.
The next problem we found is the problem of garbage production. Since the COVID-19, the delivery industry has developed faster and faster. People use more and more single-use production, such as single-use utensils, so it causes a big amount of waste. Look at the chart. It shows that the plastic was the biggest. So we have came up with some solutions.
We hope to develop an app, and everyone has its own QR code. When people want to throw out trash, they must scan it at the trash recycling station. If people recycle trash correctly, they will get green points. Green points can be used as discounts while purchasing green products in convenience stores or supermarkets. Thus, when people tend to buy green products, manufacturers will also tend to produce them. We hope to use this strategy to facilitate the people to recycle garbage and allow green products to replace ordinary plastic.
Waste minimization is a process and policy of reducing the amount of waste produced by a person and society as a whole. Reduce the amount of waste of resources and energy and used to manufacture products, and reduce the overall volume of waste that households and industry produces. Reduce the overall amount of waste that ends up in landfill. Get one step closer to a zero waste society and world. The 4 R's to keep in mind, the most effective way in the present day. First, refuse, then reduce, don't forget to reuse, and lastly, recycle.
All the things we do can indeed benefit our future. Sustainable Development Goals is a concept proposed by the United Nations. The mission statement is a blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all people and the world by 2030. But most related to the waste disposal is goal number 12. The main idea is to make sure people deal with waste in an appropriate way. During the pandemic, the amount of solid waste has significantly decreased just because people didn't purchase things outside. However, single-use items just increased. Why causes this phenomenon? It's because people are afraid of being exposed to the virus. Therefore, it reiterates the complexity of existing problems. Increasing waste. Again, increasing waste. Here are 5 tips that all of us can follow to fulfill Goal 12. And these are our references. That brings us to the end of our presentation. Thanks for your attention today. Okay, thank you. And the first question is, what inspired you to choose this topic?
Because we make garbage every day in our daily lives, and we hope that we can improve environmental problems through our own strength.
Thank you. The inspiration to make this project was due to the idea that with our minds put together, we could bring creativity and fresh projects to the rising problem of waste in our societies and bring new ways of solving this issue that have been said to only have one relatively effective solution, which has been recycling for the past decade.
Well, and I have another question. The second question is, what do you think high school students can practically do in school?
So we think high school students can do in school are things like simple things like downloading an app and using the QR code to help our environment, or other things like managing their waste and recycling, which are things that everyone can do and are free for everyone to do.
And the third question, I want to answer by myself, is that the question is, why do we choose these SDGs? Because the reason we choose these SDGs is because of the goal 12.5 says, by 2030, substantially reduce waste generation through prevention, reduction, recycling, and reuse. And after the pandemic, the amount of single-use just increased drastically. However, people didn't influence the garbage sorting. Thus, during the pandemic, I consider that all our human beings should not only pay attention to a problem, but also need to take action as well. Just as I mentioned in the slides, the 5 tips are the 5 tips to fulfill the goal 12. And the last question I want to ask, will your solution cost a lot?
It costs money, but it is covered by taxes. And it may be a little high, but the goal is to increase environmental friendliness by doing so. Also, if the city is certified as an ED city, the tax will be lower.
Okay, thanks for your share. And we decided to end our share with you.
Thank you.
Today's question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, next question we can ask or answer is a question that we just found out about, which is, do we think the situation will still happen after the pandemic? And we have studies showing that waste has been increasing drastically ever since the pandemic. And we believe that this is a necessary plan to implement, which is unique, and we believe it will be effective.
And I want to ask one more question. How can we start any projects? And we recommend to start by putting in place the plan we just presented, which is free for anyone at all ages. And everyone can help this increasing issue in our world by downloading the Green app. Okay. Thanks for your
Hi everyone, we are Team 889 and today we are here to make a presentation of our topic, awareness of COVID depression and action against it. Here is our motivations. COVID-19 has greatly influenced people all around the world. Taiwan and Japan are no exceptions. Both two countries are severely impacted by the pandemic, especially on education and mental health. Therefore, we want to center on the third and the fourth goals among the 17 SDGs, and here is our research methodologies. First, interpersonal relationship is negatively affected. Second, learning outcomes are below their expectations. Third, the daily routine has been changed, and students have difficulty adapting to school life. To test our hypothesis, we designed a questionnaire. The respondent of Taiwanese is 123, and that of Japanese respondent is 100. To better understand some oddities, we conducted a follow-up interviews, and the whole interviewees is 20 in total. Next will be our question one.
So the first question, did you spend last time socializing during the COVID-19? 74% of the respondents found that their interpersonal relationship was unaffected, and only 26% of the interviewees said that their interpersonal relationship was negatively affected. The result was contrary to what we had expected, and we assumed that the relationship with our friends will get worse. The result of the follow-up interviews showed that clarify the result of the surprising questionnaire result. All of the interviewees said that their relationship was not faded was because they contact with their friends through social media. What's more, with social media, they could make more friends and spend the same amount of time with their friend as usual.
Okay, next question. Are your daily routine affected during the pandemic? 53.3% say yes, and 46.7% say no. So what aspect of their daily routine has been impacted? In the interview, 67% sat up late due to no school, 20% played video games all night, 8% suffered from insomnia because of non-physical activities. So why doesn't the pandemic impact your daily routine? Of those who still live in the daily routine, some still set alarm clocks, others were wakened by their parents. Still others maintain a regular routine so that they didn't have to adapt to school when the school reopens.
So following the last question, a question addressed, does the change of your daily routine lead to your adaptation to school life and heavy pressure? The results of the questionnaire showed that 51% replied that they didn't need to readapt to school life and didn't show the heavy pressure. However, the results were contrary to what we had expected. It was expected that compared to the less stressful online learning, students were highly stressed because they need to accustom themselves to learning in the classroom. So in the interview question, we asked why you didn't feel stressed about coming back to school. Based on the result, we found that self-discipline plays a vital role in students' daily schedules. Those who have strong self-discipline did what they should do as usual, and those whose self-discipline is not so strong tended to postpone what they were supposed to do. That might be the reason.
The pandemic has plugged a wall into uncertainty, making people feel anxious and depressed. The results of our survey shows that 60.7% of people feel worried and depressed, but also 39.3% of them reported that they were not emotionally affected or disturbed. Interviewees stated that clear information was very important as they were not sure when the pandemic would end and whether the information they got were true or not. The repeated news and promotional videos on TV increased their anxiety and depression.
Let me share the result of the questionnaire from Japanese respondents. As for the question asking about interpersonal relationships during COVID-19, 70% of the respondents answered that they had less time for that. Still, 30% of them answered that they could communicate the same as before or that their interpersonal relationships even increased. Also, in Japan, the result shows that 53% of the respondents answered that their learning ability deteriorated.
These results show that COVID-19 has negative effect in many ways. Although students were fear that COVID-19 prevented them from meeting with friends. Therefore, many of our socializing opportunities have been low. Moreover, student learning outcomes were below their expectations. The
introduction of online lesson was inconvenient and reduced their learning ability.
Next, I will share the results from Japan about the impact on people's daily routine due to COVID-19. The results shows that 73% of the respondents answered that their daily routine was affected. We also asked about the difficulties of getting back to normal school life. 63% of them felt stressed to go back to their normal school life. The last question was about whether the news related to COVID-19 made people feel depressed. In Japan, about 70% of the respondents say they feel anxious.
Many students all over the world had problems with their daily routines, such as the time to wake up, for the same reason as in Taiwan. Moreover, the newspapers and TV news repeatedly report the number of newly infected people every day. These reports make students feel powerless and hopeless against COVID-19 because students have only a few things they can do.
This is a comparing results of a questionnaire from Taiwan and Japan. And next is our conclusion.
Not yet, but the Taiwan side is not here. The battery of the Taiwan side's computer is dead, and okay. キララさん呼んでくれますか? Okay, we at the conclusion, we believe that more attention should be paid of mental health among students while combating COVID-19. A survey carried out by the WHO shows that 90% of countries in early 2021 have included mental health and physical support in their COVID-19 response plans. Similarly, school authorities have the duty to help students keep a healthy lifestyle. By collecting online questionnaires, school authorities will know the students' needs and prevent mental health problems from happening. As for the learning quality, okay, thanks. Okay.
我们要选题。 Okay, so we choose the question from first, what is the purpose of our presentation? And since we see that COVID-19 has greatly impacted our lives, for us students, the most visible part is the change in our mindset. So we think it's better to make the issue sense. And the next question is, what is our call? And so we believe that more attention should be paid to mental health is because among the students while combating to COVID-19. And the survey carried out by WHO has shows that 90% of the countries in early 2021 have included mental health and psychological support in COVID-19 responded plans. So similarly, our school authorities have the duty to help students to keep a health lifestyle. So we think by collecting the online questionnaire, and school authorities can know the students' needs and prevent the mental health problem from happening. And the third question is, our solution to the depression problem is kind of like the prevention. We want to know what can someone do if they want to get rid of the depression. As you know, prevention is better than cure. And besides, we don't know when the pandemic will end. So as we know, this isn't much information about this out of the internet. So prevention may be more useful at this time and in this case.
Okay, from the Japanese side, I will answer the question. If you feel worried about COVID, how can we relax and stop worrying? So I think I don't know why you are worried about COVID, because maybe it is because you wanted to do something and you can't do it because of Corona. So maybe why don't you think about something others, what you can do without worrying about Corona, such as you can we have so many online communities, and there's many fun things what we can do without worrying about Corona, and maybe that can help you. Okay, it was.
This is our answers to the question that we choose.
Yes.
Thank you.
5 minutes. Okay. We have answered the solution one? Yes.
Okay. And someone asked, how can we put the practice into being self-disciplined? So as our case that when the second that we know we're going to learning at home and not at the school, and me and we team know that we're not a very strong self-disciplined people. So we make a note and a schedule by ourselves to write every time every day what time we should do which course, take which class, so that by the schedule like school, then we can make to the motive to self-discipline.
And for the last question, are you crying? I'm not crying, it's okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay. Let's see. Hello, everyone. We're at Sanmin Vocational High School.
We are Naraikwe High School. Hi, Jamie. It's almost the end of 2021. Are you happy for the new year?
No, I'm not. Because of the pandemic, most countries still lock down their borders and airports. As a result, we cannot travel overseas. It's a pity that we cannot meet in person during ASEP.
Same here. I'm not happy either. Because of COVID-19, many people around me lost their jobs and income. Some people have lost their jobs, and a lot of stores and other businesses are still being closed.
That's right. Nobody knows when the pandemic will end. Many people are worrying about their future and deeply depressed. Actually, in Japan, the number of suicides has increased from 20,840 to 21,081 in the past 2 years.
And the unemployment rate also increased from 2% to over 3% more than before the corona pandemic. COVID-19 has caused many businesses to shorten their hours or close their doors. As a result, many employers are laid off and lose their jobs. Our life has become difficult and the number of suicides has increased. This is a serious problem. We try to take action to rescue them by making a website for people in need.
The website is in Japanese and English. We list all the organizations which can help people who are suffering from COVID-19. This is only a starter web page. We will put more information and improve it.
Although some issues such as unemployment rate is difficult to be solved by we high school students, we can at least provide information to those who lost their jobs.
For example, our homepage provides the elderly people with an easy access guide. If they click here, they can get a chance to find a new job, get financial support to lives better.
When the economy turns worse, the minority groups usually suffer the most, especially the elders. How is the situation in Taiwan? Do you have similar problems?
Japan and Taiwan are both aging societies. Up to 27% of the elders in Taiwan lack good health care in the post-pandemic era. Some elders lost financial support because their children lost jobs.
But in most cases, the elder just lose the hope to live, just like my grandma. She has been sick for many years. She often thinks she is useless to the family and doesn't want to live anymore.
My grandfather is too. He used to be a key person in the factory, but now he lost his job and felt hopeless. It seems lockdown has made people unhappy and unhealthy, especially the elders. As a global citizen, we must do something to change the current situation.
According to United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 3, ensuring good health and promoting well-being at all ages is our responsibility. But what can we high school students do?
We can set up a volunteer club in school to make elders feel happier. In the club, we often do something simple and meaningful for the elders in our community.
You are right. I know most old people are afraid of loneliness. We can spend more time standing side by side with them and listen to them talking about the past.
I know some elders are too old to cook for themselves, so in our volunteer club, we can take turns preparing meals for them. What's better, we can chat with them when they are eating.
That's right. When I bring a lunchbox to my elder neighbor, I often watch television with her for a while. According to a survey, the elders have a better appetite when they are accompanied by someone they trust.
Besides caring about their eating behavior, it is also important to care about their health. We can encourage the elders to go outdoors to have some fresh air too. Bathing in the sunshine and breathing fresh air will make them feel younger.
Yes, my grandma enjoyed the time chatting with an old friend in a wheelchair in the park. I often push her to the park and encourage her to do some simple exercise.
In addition to food and exercise, a clean living environment is crucial. Some elders are too old to take care of their big houses. We can volunteer to clean the house and light up their lives.
Wow, your volunteer club has done so many things. It impressed me that high school students can do so much to promote well-being in all ages.
Yes, let's work hand in hand. Let's light up our lives. And thank you for listening. Okay. Thank you guys for your questions. I would like to answer the question from Zhongzheng Gaozhong. You said you want to set up a club. How can you encourage students to join? We will collaborate with Senior Citizens Welfare Foundation. And with that, then we can connect to more people that need our help.
I would answer the question from Zhongzhen Gaozhong. You said you want to set up a club. How can you encourage students to join? Okay. Okay, sorry. I would answer the question from
SMA Lab School.
SMA Lab School. And great and how would you attract people to join your volunteer club? We will post that on the Instagram, and if you join our club, we will give you a gift. How to prepare meal for them? Sorry. In pandemic era, if it has risk of eating meals with them, we will do the complete infection before eating food, and make sure we are healthy before investing them.
Okay, and we will let Japanese student to answering the question.
Okay, the question is, how can we spread the idea? Thank you for the questions. We can send town paper to people. Okay, next question is, young people don't have time. Yes, thank you for questions. We can continue after we enter university.
Okay.
Okay, Taiwan students, please.
The problems are still existing. How do you do after pandemic era? We will expand to more people, like children, like young people, not only for the elders.
Okay, may I ask question? Okay. What do we need to do for happy and healthy people? Thank you for questions. I think they need someone to talk with and some places where they can relax.
How to prepare meal for them if you don't have time? Actually, we said we will collaborate with Senior Citizen Welfare Foundation, so they will prepare for the meal and we will deliver them.
Okay, the question is, what will you do if...
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hello, we are Team B, and we are going to talk about the essence of hunger. We will focus on SDGs 2, Zero Hunger. The goal of SDGs 2 is to end hunger and to achieve food security in all its forms.
First, we will talk about the current global situation of world hunger. There are currently 768 million people in the world who are starving.
Imagine that 1 in 9 people are starving. The world population is expected to grow from 7.7 billion to 10.9 billion by 21,000, an increase of 42%. So future food problem will also be the most serious problem facing mankind.
However, despite such a large number of hungry people, there is also a huge problem of food loss and an enormous gap between the poor and the wealthy. 1.3 billion tons of food that can still be eaten is thrown away in the world, and 45% of food loss comes from the household.
For example, in Japan, 70 million tons of food is thrown away, and it means that every citizen throws away a cup of rice a day. Next, we will talk about the problem of hunger in Asia and the effect of the COVID-19. Look at at this picture. This shows the number of hungry people by regions. There are 511 million hungry people in Asia, and the East is the bigger number for hungry in the world.
Damage and problem. The sudden increase in unemployment leads to loss of income. In other countries, employers have taken a large number of dismissals, forcing millions of people to lose their jobs completely, affecting their families' livelihoods and impacting social stability.
Rising food cost. The main reason for the increase in food is local logistics problems or import difficulties, and it is difficult to obtain the resources needed to process food, especially in countries that rely on food imports.
Affect the input of agricultural labor force and production factors. The epidemic has affected agricultural labor force and related production factors used for production, which requires difficulties in purchasing agricultural inputs, affecting food production.
The COVID-19 pandemic has exacerbated the drivers of global hunger, such as recessions and downturns. The World Bank stated that the impact of the epidemic on the economy may cause about 100 million people to fall into extreme poverty, blocking the global realization of zero hunger.
Next, I'll discuss our research about what are the fundamental causes of food production problems, such as the unstable situation that is causing new problems like corona and the huge starving population. Now we got the answer that livestock farming and farming in general is the cause. So there's a lot of issues of livestock farming. For example, more than 6 million animals are killed for food every hour. Also, livestock farming is affecting the environment badly too. For example, livestock farming accounts for 32,000 tons of CO2 for a year and is about 51% of the world's greenhouse gas.
About agriculture, there are lots of issues. For example, 1/3 of the Earth's topsoil will be completely devastated, then also will be lost in 60 years. Also about the quarter of the Earth's land mass is reserves. Now I will now explain the process of how general agriculture destroyed the Earth. The reason is because of the soil erosion. The reason is tilling, over-tilling, using chemical fertilizer to make a weaker soil stronger. Using chemical fertilizer again. When the soil is tilled, the carbon dioxide absorbed in the soil is released unless the water in the soil evaporated and the soil becomes a desert. The sixth negative cycle has led to soil erosion, a terrible condition of the Earth's topsoil. Do you see how agriculture and livestock farming and problem?
Next, the solution. The solution is artificial meat and regenerative agriculture. Which one do you think is artificial meat? The answer is this one. There are two types of artificial meat, and it is plant-based meat and cultured meat. Plant-based meat is all made from vegetables, and cultured meat is real meat cultured from a single cow cell. And there are many benefits to using artificial meat. For example, no abuse and killing of animals, 93% less land, and 90% less greenhouse gases. Next is about regenerative agriculture. Regenerative agriculture is an overall approach to food and agriculture with an emphasis on the conservation and restoration of ecosystem that can restore 1/3 of Earth's destroyed land at low cost. The right side is regenerative agriculture and the left side is general agriculture. So how do we make it happen? For example, when we are hold a school festival, we serve some food that use artificial meat and compete for sales with other classes and enjoy it. Lastly, We will talk about the action plan we are doing.
Usually, we often see food waste day after day, leading to severe food shortage in many areas. In our daily life, we can rehearse excess nutritious lunch from school and send them to people in need or to homeless people. Through these models, not only can you help others, but also reduce the waste excess food.
Okay, my name is Steve Jobs. I will start to introduce the specific actions taken by the Japanese team members to address the issue of hunger. Sakurako is a member of a club called SDGs for Children, and she dares to hold workshops for elementary school students to spread awareness of social issues. She also invests in artificial meat from the American company Beyond Meat to solve environmental and animal welfare and hunger issues. To solve starving, not only for people but also for dogs. She rescued 2 seriously ill and starving Taiwanese dogs in Taiwan when she was 4 years old, and they are now her most important family members in this world. In case of Hanami, she won a business contest by proposing an app to solve the problem of isolated eating. Hanae is working with a club to support a woman's family in Afghanistan with food. That's it. Thank you.